Hi guys, my name is Hart and welcome to the channel. If you are someone who's planning of dating Filipinas or you are already dating Filipinas, then for sure you've probably heard of this warning several times. Filipinas are overly jealous. Well, as a Filipina myself, I won't say that this is true for every Filipinas. And I won't say, no, this is not true. Because just like other nationalities, Filipinas, there are Filipinas who are confident, who are secure of themselves, while there are also Filipinas who feel insecure of themselves. And both of this can show or portray into their relationships. So how do these people come up with a generalization that Filipinos are overly jealous in the first place? First, there are Filipinos who confiscate their partner's phone just to check their messages, social media activities, and call histories. This behavior did not come out of nowhere. It's usually a sign the trust has already been damaged, or when past experiences with cheating conditioned them to check for signs of betrayal. While this kind of behavior is unhealthy and crosses personal boundaries, people immediately see it and then label Filipinas are overly jealous without understanding the deeper reasons behind it. Because these behaviors are visible and emotionally charged, people easily turn it into stereotypes. People tend to focus on the extreme or memorable examples and then generalize them all to Filipinas, forgetting that people or jealousy manifests differently from one person to another. In reality, these behaviors are not exclusive to Filipinos at all. These are reactions to unresolved trauma, insecurity, and broken trust, which can naturally happen in any culture. So it's not just because we are Filipinas, so we tend to be overly jealous, or jealousy just runs in our blood. For me personally, I believe that there are deeper and more serious reasons why Filipinos tend to be overly jealous. And that's what we are going to talk about in this video. While I also want to be clear that I also believe that jealousy is a normal and natural part of any relationship. It just shows that we care and we cherish the connection. However, I also agree that jealousy becomes toxic and destructive when it's excessive, controlling, or it starts to create mistrust. That is exactly why I included jealousy in my previous video that you can watch here, where I discussed the top 5 toxic Filipino cultural habits that I think may affect your relationship with your Filipino girlfriend or Filipino wife. So now let's dig deeper into what causes overjealousy among many Filipinas. There are statistics, although from older data around 2009, that says about 36% of Filipino men admitted to cheating, while 2% of Filipinas admitted to it. Though this is widely believed to be underreported because, especially with women, because cheating or infidelity might be very common here in the Philippines, but it is still a cultural taboo. From that statistics, it also says that cheating is also very common among younger age groups from 15 to 27 years old. This reality has left many Filipinos emotionally traumatized. Imagine being cheated on during your teenage years when your confidence is still developing. That kind of experience can seriously damage your self-confidence and how you see yourself. When you are cheated on at a very young age, you start asking yourself painful questions like, what does the other woman have that I don't? It destroys your confidence and your sense of self-worth. If that trauma is never healed, it becomes something that stays with you and continues to haunt you later in life. Because cheating is relatively common here in the Philippines, many Philippine women grow up not knowing who to trust, which makes jealousy easier to trigger. At a very young age, many Filipinas have witnessed how infidelity ruined their own families, their relatives' marriages, and even the families of their own friends. Studies have shown that infidelity is one of the leading causes of family breakups and broken marriages in the Philippines, contributing a significant number of marriages that fall apart every year. Personally, I believe that the kind of relationships you were exposed to while growing up can make or break your own relationships later in life. Another reason why Filipinas tend to be overly jealous, especially when they are with a foreign partner, is something that I call rock star syndrome. This is not a formal diagnosis, but a colloquial term used to describe foreigners who developed an inflated sense of self-importance after moving to the Philippines. Because foreigners are relatively scarce in the Philippines, there are foreign men who start to feel more entitled, who think they deserve special treatment, especially when it comes to dating. Many Filipinas see foreign men as more attractive because of their light-colored eyes, taller height, or sharper features. Because of this, some foreigners feel like they're rock stars here in the Philippines, even though they're just considered average back in their home countries. I'm not saying that this happens to all foreigners who come to the Philippines, but there are definitely men who behave this way. Because of this reality, many Filipinos will try to get a foreigner's attention, even when you're holding hands with your Filipino girlfriend. When your Filipino partner sees this and she knows that many Filipinos find you attractive, then naturally, jealousy comes into play. Another major reason for Filipina over-jealousy is insecurity. As I have mentioned in my previous videos, Filipino culture can be loving and warm. However, it can also be toxic. And sometimes toxicity starts at home. A family member might say, "Oh, you're so beautiful, but you would be more beautiful if you had fairer skin." That statement might sound like a compliment, but it plants insecurity. Many Filipinos grow up hearing mixed messages about their beauty, their value, their worth, which later affects how they see themselves and how they value themselves in a relationship. Lastly, Filipino culture places a strong emphasis on emotional attachment and fear of loss. Filipinos are naturally emotional people, and jealousy is an intense emotion. And when Filipinos are deeply attached to you emotionally, the fear of losing you can become overwhelming for them. That fear, when combined with trauma and past insecurity, tends to show up as overjealousy. So how do you deal with an overly jealous Filipino girlfriend? First, both of you should acknowledge that she is jealous. There should be denying it or acting impulsively. And the next is open and honest communication. Make her feel that this is a safe space, that she can share why she's jealous instead of interrogations, instead of tampo or silent treatment. Those things would not help you in resolving these issues or your relationship issues. Both of you need to take responsibility. Jealousy is not solved by blaming one person alone. It requires effort from both sides, since this is a relationship that we are talking about. So I think that's why it's very important for you to understand the deeper or the more serious reasons as to why your Filipino girlfriend is overly jealous before misunderstanding her or judging her that, oh, all Filipinos are like this and like that because it runs in your blood. Because no, babe, it doesn't. So now I want to hear your thoughts. Are you dating an overly jealous Filipina? Let me know in the comment section below, and maybe you can share your experiences in dealing with it. According to the latest data, marriage rate in the Philippines is declining since 2024. Now, should you still look for a Filipina wife or stay back home? Once again, this is Art, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!